This is From Ring to Veil, a wedding planning podcast, the PNW's complete wedding resource, with your host, Kim Mills and Shannon Palmer.
Welcome to episode number 2. You're engaged. Now what?
In this episode, we are going to discuss sharing the engagement news, engagement parties, yes or no, and how to start planning for your wedding. So, Shannon.
Yes, Kimberly.
It's been a while since we both planned our wedding, but we have been involved in helping others plan their wedding.
Yes.
Especially in the floral aspect, because that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
How did you share the news? Do you even remember?
It's been 20 odd years. I don't remember that. No, my engagement wasn't anything big and spectacular. It was just,
okay.
We lived together before, so it wasn't a big news. So, you know, he's like, here, marry me, So anyway, ours wasn't a very big thing. So, I mean, I told everyone, of course, back then, 22 years ago, as a matter of fact, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have really cell phones that you could text on. So everything was done by a phone call.
Right.
So,
Well, did you call your parents first, your best friend?
I don't think I called them right away.
And of course, this all depends on your relationship with your parents and all that kind of stuff. But we're assuming, everything is great and happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I called him the next day because we just got off work, or he just got off work when he did it, and I had dinner ready, and he thought it was a great time to ask me to marry him for some weird reason.
That's nice. Well, me too. It's been 18 years since we got married. In fact, almost exactly, because we just had our anniversary. But I remember it was, late at night when he asked me. So, of course, it was the next day before I shared any kind of news or anything. But I did call my parents first. And then I started telling everybody, like you said, still wasn't texting. There was emailing.
Yeah.
There was that. And so I think I did do some emailing with my Juno account. I think I remember that.
Prodigy account, maybe? I don't remember.
So I started emailing, and then of course shared my news with the people that I worked with, because those were mainly my best friends anyway at that point.
Right.
So that's kind of how you had to do it back then. And of course there's the expected rules of all this kind of stuff, and if you want to be very proper about it, you can get those books and follow those.
Emily Post is a very good resource.
There you go. If you want to be very proper about it, yes. And I think she says to keep it to yourself for a while, right? But share with
celebrate with each other first, and then to your very favorite people, like your parents and your grandparents, your close relatives.
Yeah, and I think that's how you should do it anyway. I mean, that's how I feel. Your family, your best friends, your very close people that, your core group. I think that's how you're going to share it anyway.
And if this is like your second marriage, I think your kids, if there's kids, and you need to tell them first.
Yes.
Or even if it was me, I would like for the man that was entering into my life, if I had kids, to talk to my kids first, to see what they thought about the idea.
Right.
So,
to maybe even not necessarily ask permission, but sort of, kind of get there.
Are you okay with this? Are you fine? Do you like me well enough for me to be basically in your life every day, an authority figure, So, especially if they're older.
Right. That's always a sticky situation.
Because, I mean, that 10 to 18 age with kids, 18, maybe 15, 12 to 15.
Yeah.
That sticky age where you hate everybody in the world anyway.
Right. So kids, parents, grandparents, if they're living and you're close. My grandparents at the time were in Europe. That's where they lived. So it was hard. I couldn't just pick up the phone and call them. We had to write a letter or whatever.
Had to count time zones.
Exactly. So nowadays that's much easier, of course. But, if you have them close, share that. I don't know. I feel like your core people first.
Right.
And then, if you're happy about it enough and you want to post it on Facebook,
change your relationship status.
There you go. That's also a very good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some ideas on how to share, some cute little fun ideas on how to share if you're looking for something unique,
out of the ordinary,
different than just a text or a phone call.
Get each other t-shirts.
Yeah, that would be fun.
graphics on the t-shirt says I'm his and he's mine, or
we're engaged, or I'm with stupid, one of those two.
And take pictures and, put it on your Facebook page. Mm-hmm. That's a good way to tell the world that you're engaged.
Yes, I think that would be so fun. Nowadays, I'd probably do something like that if that's what were to happen. Christmas ornaments. If you just got engaged, maybe during Thanksgiving or something like that.
The engagement season.
Exactly, which we are in.
Right, in the midst of.
Right. So, a Christmas ornament. I saw some really cute ones that, you've got all those Christmas ornaments that you can make yourself, like the little globes or something like that. Right. You can put a little note in there, or, we're engaged, or, whatever you want in there. Or even wrap it up in a little gift card looking thing, and then just put, we're engaged. Yeah. Look for the save the date to come up. I thought that was super cute. Yeah. I love Christmas anyway, though, so.
Videos. Videos are all the rage. YouTube, Vines, all this stuff. Do a little 15, 30-second video to share out to all your friends. It would be easier than typing an email.
That's true.
I think. Anyway, I would think.
My daughter loves to watch the engagement videos, especially the good ones,
right.
She said it's really funny to watch the fails, too, which I'm not saying I like that at all. But you've seen all these videos that are going viral because they do such a good job. They change song lyrics to make it,
And that's another thing we can talk about in just a second, too, is the staged engagements.
So that would be super fun video. I don't know if I'm creative enough to do that, but I know there are a lot of creative people out there that can do that.
Yeah. Of course, we said the photo with the t-shirts and things like that. That's always an easy and cute way to do it. E-cards.
Yes. The Jib Jab ones.
Yeah.
Or those are so cute.
Even just the ones from, your online e-card place, and just like an announcement type thing, and just send it to your friends. Something creative. And phone calls, of course, always work.
Yes.
Text messages.
I don't know.
I think that's kind of impersonal to me, because you don't really write correctly, type correctly. Your grammar's not very good on text messages. I don't do the text speak thing hardly anyway, but
I guess that just depends on your personality and your friends and all that stuff.
Right.
I mean, the youngins might want to do that kind of stuff,
Yo, I'm engaged. I'm getting hit.
I wonder what the engaged...
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure
text thing is.
Anyway.
That one might be fun.
Talking about engagement videos and the staged, some of those are in very big productions. I mean, if you look for proposals on YouTube, there's tons of them. And some of them are these big productions of, like, mob things.
Flash dance,
flash mobs and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, how long did it take for him to do that?
And how did he keep it quiet for so long?
Because my husband would never do something like that. So, I don't know. Or is it the creative guys doing this?
Yeah, it has to be.
So, anyway. So, I don't really know how I feel about those. Because, I mean, it puts him on the spot. And if she doesn't really feel the same way at the same time... That has to be horrible. I'm sorry.
Well, then you wouldn't post that anywhere, I would hope. Well,
sometimes it gets posted anyway because everybody has their camera phone.
That's true. That's true.
Ugh, camera phones.
Hey, I'm happy about camera phones.
Well, I like them if they're taking pictures of stuff. But anyway.
Which, that's another show that we're going to be talking about.
We'll get to that.
All right, so that's just some ideas on how to share, when to share. And who to share with. Let's talk about engagement parties. Now, we did some research on this because I, for one, did not have an engagement party.
I did not have an engagement party.
We were poor college students, so we just didn't have the resources to do that.
We were just poor.
From what I'm reading and finding is that a lot of people are saving the money from an engagement party just to use on their wedding or their reception.
Right.
Have a bigger party for their reception.
Right.
And of course, it's all what you really want. If you really want one, you should have one.
Even if it's just like a backyard barbecue, just to announce, just celebrate your engagement with your friends and your family, your close friends and family.
You can keep it a surprise and have just a gathering, and then once everybody gets there, you share the great news and all of that. But yes, you can do anything from a sit-down dinner to like you said, a backyard barbecue, or, I mean, you could all meet up.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you what you really want. And we found some rules, or some guidelines. I wouldn't say rules, but some rules for engagement parties. Usually the bride's parents host, because they're giving away their daughter. But it's usually the bride's parents that host the engagement party. Right.
So that means they would probably foot the bill, too.
And, that's another thing you need to talk about. Should they foot the bill to that? I mean, would you rather them put it all, like we said, put it all towards your wedding?
That's some decisions you would have to make. I think for me, I wouldn't make my parents do that. And if they're hosting, then they would have control over it.
Right.
If they're not, if we're co-hosting or whatever, then it would be better, in my opinion. Well, when I think of an engagement party, I think of me having my friends and family that I want to celebrate with there. Right. But if a parent is hosting it, they might have their friends that they want to show you guys off to. So it's two different things.
And so that brings up another question. It is a guideline, you can say, or a rule, that anybody that comes to your engagement party is assumed to be invited, or what is the good word? Not assumed. Is it? It is assumed, which, the saying about assumptions, that they will be invited to the wedding. Right. So if you have this big, huge blowout of an engagement party, you're going to have a big, huge wedding because they assume they're getting an invitation to your wedding. So that's another thing to think about.
Unless it's made clear. We're keeping the wedding for family and very intimate wedding.
Right. Like a destination wedding or something like that.
That has to be made clear because they're going to expect an invitation. And even then, I was thinking, what if these people can't come to the wedding for some reason, but they can come to the engagement party? Yes. You don't want them to feel obligated or bad because they can't come to the wedding. Maybe that's why you're offering the engagement party. You make that if you can't come to my wedding, that's fine. We still want you here kind of thing. Right. If you're going to do an engagement party.
It is also acceptable to have more than one. If the bride and the groom's parents are on separate coasts or in different locations, they may want to celebrate separately and have you come to two separate celebrations. Traditionally, the engagement party was to announce the engagement. As we said, it's now more of a celebration because social media and things like that get it there faster.
And you could have a Google Hangout for your your engagement party. You know what I mean? In all of this, it's basically a celebration. Right. That two people are getting together and committing themselves to each other for the rest of their lives. That's what it's all about. And that's, I think sometimes people get a little off that line and make it something else. But, when it comes down to it, it's a celebration of the union.
Right. And gifts are not required.
But you can, again, if you're a guest that can't make it to the wedding, you might want to bring a gift and say, either save it for the wedding.
No.
Yeah, like me, I can't save gifts. Yeah.
Yeah, open that on December 25th. It's in my hands now.
Right. Forget about it.
So that's, kind of the engagement how-tos, or the engagement party how-tos.
Yes. Yes. We also wanted to talk about how to start planning your wedding. Now, there's a plethora of ways to do that. You can go to any bookstore and find a wedding planner. In fact, we picked one up from the Knot that looked pretty detailed.
Right. And it had all the little sections for the OCD bride.
Yes.
It's great because it had all these little tabs and everything you really need to know. So I suggest that one because it's, it's very detailed.
Right. And that's how you are. But then there's also the wedding plannings for dummies. So, whatever fits maybe you don't like that. Maybe you're all online, which they have online sites everywhere that you can sign up to. Also, you'll have this podcast to help you with the planning process.
Oh, yeah.
So, take notes, use that as part of your planning process.
We're going to, these first few episodes are going to start at the very beginning, and then we're going to get more detailed. So, next episode is going to be how to start planning. Do you hire a wedding planner? Do you just do day of coordination, setting the date, save the date cards, things like that. Always listen in, and you'll get a lot of good information.
And we will also have interviews. We're going to have plenty of interviews with lots of wedding venues and vendors, and we'll get their ideas and suggestions on planning your wedding and what you need to ask and who you need to see and when you need to do it, because you might not need one vendor until pretty late in the process, but you might need to, lock down something very early.
Plus, where to start it's kind of up in the air. Some say start with a planner. Some say start with your venue. Size of your wedding depends on your venue. Or your venue depends on the size of your wedding, I guess you could say.
Right.
Because a small, intimate venue is not going to host 200 people.
Exactly.
I mean, you may fall in love with it, but if you have 200 people, they're not going to fit there.
Right. And then you may have to re-examine your wedding and your budget and your... So we're here to help you with all of this and help you make decisions that will make your day your day.
Your day. And non-stressful.
Non-stressful.
Your non-stressful day. Until next time, no stress, no worries. Keep calm and listen on.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Facebook, From Ring to Veil, and also on Twitter at From Ring to Veil. If you have any questions, please contact us, and we would love to discuss those on the show. Also, if you found us on Facebook or on our website, FromRingToVeil.com, you can subscribe to us on iTunes and through Stitcher. You can also personally email us at info@FromRingToVeil.com. Happy planning.